Brendan, the Fevola, is regarded as one of the most dominant full forwards to ever play AFL football. His amazing ability to hold off opponents and kick an insane amount of goals over such a long period of time are just some of the reasons why I've chosen him for this assignment. The autobiography that I chose was written by Brendan Fevola with Adam McNichol, entitled Fev, in my own words, and was published by Hardie Grant Books in 2012. Sport delivery systems in Australia are the gateway to introducing talent to different codes of sport. Whether they be at a grassroots or elite level, these delivery systems are vital for the future of Australian sport, and by analysing and understanding them, it will allow for a greater number of participation in the future. This analysis begins with Brendan and his introduction to sport. AFL football, the sport that Brendan became so dominant in, was not initially introduced to him at the start of his sporting career. Lacrosse was the first sport in which Brendan experienced. Due to where the Fevolas were living at the time, out of suburban Melbourne, sport geography became a factor to what sports were available to him. Bale 1889 describes the growth of sport through location and climate. This can be seen in Brendan's case, as lacrosse was more accessible during this time due to the open fields in the suburban areas, and AFL, a game more played in the city. This would change, however, as Brendan's family would eventually move to the city, seeing his sport provider become his school. This meaning, due to his new location and provider of sport, only cricket would be played in the summer and AFL in the winter. Not long after this, Brendan was introduced to two delivery systems which no doubt propelled him into his amazing career, the first being Little Athletics. This allowed Brendan to work on his athleticism at a local, district and state level, where he did make state finals one year. The second being Vic Kick, or now known as Auskick, a program designed to bring juniors into the game of AFL and allow them to learn from a young age. Shilbury and Kellett explains the modified version of these sports would allow for juniors to participate more, which is the case with Brendan, as Vic Kick and Little Athletics modifications suited a younger Brendan and in turn allowed him to flourish as an athlete. This progression allowed Brendan to eventually start playing proper games of AFL in his under-10 competition. As years passed, the game stayed the same, but Brendan got better. Eventually, scouts from a local TAC club, the Dandenong Stingrays, identified Brendan as a talent and brought him into their list. The TAC Cup sees 12 clubs from around Victoria compete in a round-robin competition, played with a final series. This is where the best of the best would go at it, with the main focus of this competition being scouting of future AFL prospects at the elite level, in which a good performance may see them drafted to an AFL club. As mentioned in Rokosz, page 213, tournaments seek 5 potential objectives when used. Players and teams are to be afforded maximum playing opportunities, and obviously a champion is to be determined. By using a round-robin type tournament in the TAC Cup, each player and team then have the maximum chance to showcase their ability, and the winner of the competition would allow the scouts to see who really is the best, thus cohering with the objectives of the tournament. Eventually, through numerous seasons with the TAC Cup club, the Dandenong Stingrays, Brendan Fevola would be drafted to the Carlton Football Club on November 1st, 1998, at the ripe age of 17. In Davies 2015, you can see that maintaining a steady and reliable drafting system would and can allow our teams to pick elite talent from the pool provided. AFL clubs were only allowed to draft one 17-year-old per club on the night, and as Brendan was only 17 at the time, this limited his chances of being picked at the elite level, but would allow him to develop his skills at a district and state level if he did not get picked on the night, making it both fair on the club and the player. As you can see by the graphic on screen, Brendan enjoyed an amazing career at the helm of Carlton Football Club. A freakish athlete and competitor, Brendan showcased his talents at every stage of his career. During his younger years, the focus on his team, Warren JFC Under-9 Zebras, was most definitely to have fun. While this is common in almost every junior league around the world, due to the sports geography of where Brendan grew up, winning was almost always a factor, no matter what age group he played in. While playing for the Dandenong Stingrays, responsibilities and structure of the club became more clear, as emphasis was put on Brendan's grades at school and overall fitness and health, with running capacity becoming a big factor during the pre-season at the club. Once at Carlton Football Club, being a professional athlete would become his new lifestyle, and due to this, everything he did on and off the field would be monitored. It is evident that all 3 sport organisations that Brendan was involved in during his career cohere to our definition of sport development, as through Shilbury and Kellett, allowing for pathways that every age group would see Brendan progress from a casual participant to local club sport to then regional and finally a national level. It should be noted that rules and regulations have changed during the period that Brendan has been out of the game, as player safety has become more of a priority than ever before. From what I can gather, Brendan Fevola's understanding of sport delivery systems was somewhat mixed. as it is evident that he understood the importance of each level to which he progressed as an athlete, but never really attributes it to his success, but more of his own hard work and talent. You can see this when he talks about his friends and fellow teammates, as he mentions a story about a young man who loved the game just as much as he did, and might have just been just as talented, but never made it to the elite level of AFL football. This confirming his belief that the systems might have failed those who might have deserved to be at the elite level, but never really got a shot. It is amazing how sport delivery systems show how, with enough participation, elite level athletes can be created. I learned of how these systems have grown throughout the years, through many variations of AFL now being implemented to truly cater for everyone. Whether that be through Auskick, AFL 9s, or huge sponsorship deals in McDonald's, or recently a chance to promote the AFL in China. Both nationally and internationally, the Australian Football League is moving forward in the way it delivers itself to a growing number of potential participants around the world. In conclusion, the use of sport delivery systems in Australia, paired with the structure of sporting organisations, promotes participation at a grassroots level to an elite standard, which can be seen through the story of Brendan Fevola. Sporting geography, modified versions of AFL, tournament structures, and drafting systems all played a huge part of how sport delivery systems allowed and affected Brendan Fevola to be realised as one of the most dominant forwards